Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Amy. Today I'm doing another ship with me video. These sales are from over the weekend and I just sold items on Poshmark. I am really excited. I did a 100 item listing challenge last week and I achieved my goal by the skin on my teeth. I was listing till I think 10:30 p.m. last night on Sunday night. Anyways, I'll share those some of those statistics with you after I share what I sell. I was hoping to do a video kind of going day to day with my listing challenge, but it was just too much. The one goal was enough for me, so I'll at least share my statistics so you can see how I got to that goal. Okay, so the first item that sold is this vintage locket, and it kind of has an etched Asian Japanese scene on both sides. It is sterling silver, and it does have someone's sweetheart picture in there. And I don't know why, but whenever I find these with a picture in them, I'd like to leave it in there. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that's where it belongs. And so I always just leave it like that. And I think people seem to like it because it's kind of a little piece of history. This ended up selling for $47, which I'm thrilled about. I think that's pretty great. I'm not sure exactly when this is from, maybe from the 60s. The clasp on it did look a little bit older. I paid about $5 for this. This took a fair while to sell. I'm not exactly sure how long, but I think probably in the neighborhood of 8 months to a year. After Posh fees, my cost of goods, I don't think there was shipping discounts on this, but that made my profit $29.62. I'm happy with that. Actually, all the pieces that I sold over the weekend were jewelry. So the next item is this really pretty pair of sterling silver earrings with lapis lazuli stones in them. I bought these at the estate sale where I spent $890. So I only paid $3 for them, and they ended up selling for $41. I'm not exactly sure, again, how long these took to sell because some of the items I listed right away and some of them I've kind of trickled in over time. Did I say they sold for $41? So that made my profit $29.80. I've said this many, many times before, but I'm okay if jewelry takes a little longer or a while to sell because usually I don't have a very high buy-in price and it does not take up any room. And I'm pretty good at organizing and keeping track of it. So it's a good category for me. The next sale is kind of interesting. I picked these up. I can't remember if these were, I think they were like in a baggie of miscellaneous jewelry. And I just kind of lotted them up. They're these little pins and they are from a power company. And dang it, I wish I would have written it down. I guess it doesn't matter because they only sold for $20. So it's not necessarily like a bolo or anything, but this little guy had a name and it was kilowatt something. So I put those two things and then these two little Pacific Power pieces in the lot. And I had this priced quite a bit higher and somebody offered me $20 and they had been listed a while, so I just accepted it. And I don't know why I had it priced higher to begin with because I looked at the comps on these little guys and they were only like $7, $8 a piece. So I just decided to go ahead and move it along. And I did look at this buyer's, there was some comments, I think, on his Meet the Posher page. And someone else mentioned that he purchased a electrical pin from them. So what I'm trying to say is he's probably a collector. I probably paid between $1 and $3 for these with that lot. So I put my cost of goods as $3. So that made my profit $13. So for the 100 item listing challenge, I set a goal to list 100 items over 7 days. I gave myself a little, and I always do this, I gave myself a little cushion that I could cross list up to 33 items. And I didn't end up having to do that hardly at all. And the reason I do this is because cross-listing items is still very productive and very important. And also, if something happens to randomly come up during the week when I'm doing the listing challenge and I just can't get to the 100 new listings, I have that buffer where I can just copy and paste and, cross list to another site. And I find that this works well for me. It keeps my stress down. So I listed a total of 55 new items on Poshmark and a total of 41 new items on Chairish, and then 4 items that I already had listed on Poshmark that I cross-listed to Chairish. On Monday, I listed 12 on Poshmark. On Tuesday, I listed 12 again on Poshmark. On Wednesday, I listed 5 on Poshmark and 6 on Chairish. On Thursday, I listed 6 on Poshmark and 2 on Chairish. On Friday, I listed 5 on Poshmark and 5 on Chairish. You can kind of see I'm running out of steam a little bit. On Saturday, I listed 6 on Poshmark and 3 on Chairish. And then on Sunday, I listed 25 items on Chairish and 9 on Poshmark. I think that is a record for listings for me in one day. I listed 34 items in one day. And this is one of the other reasons that I like to do these challenges periodically, because they remind me what I'm capable of if I really set my mind to it. I think, or for me, a lot of times I make excuses. Oh, I had this doctor's appointment. Oh, my dad needed help with this. Oh, we had plans with friends. There's always some excuse when or can be when you're self-employed. And so seeing that I could list 34 items in one day if I wanted to, and if I really sat down, is really pretty eye-opening to me. I don't want to list 34 items every day because I would be grouchy and exhausted. I also set a goal to list $5,000 worth of items, and I did not add up the totals for that. Maybe I'll do that later in the week. But what do you guys think? Have you guys tried doing a listing challenge? I've done this before 3 or 4 times, and I'm always really, really happy that I did it. It really gets me to kind of dig into my death pile and my money pile and list some things that I've kind of been putting off listing because either I don't want to, or I'm not inspired to do it, or I need to do research on them. Some tips for what I do: I bulk photograph. So I will, set aside 2 hours or whatever it is, and I'll set a goal that I want to go and I need to photograph 20 items in that time. And when I'm photographing, I photograph everything, that I normally would. And then I also have pictures of the measurements of the item on my phone, so that if I'm somewhere and I can list, I have everything I need right there on my phone to list it. And I take pictures of all the flaws, everything like that. And I think that's really helpful to have all of that information just on your phone, because I photograph with my phone. Because then there's no excuse about having to be home at the computer to list things. And a lot of times when I'm doing these challenges, I will list more jewelry because it is quicker to photograph and it is easier to list for me. Those are just some tips. I photographed, I think, probably 4 out of the 7 days. And I also had some old photographs of items that I had taken before I went on vacation or before my surgery, thinking that I would just be laying around and I'd have time to list items, and I never got them listed. So I did have about 20 or 30 that that I already had. So I photographed about 60 or 70 new items. Okay, well, don't go anywhere. This video will continue with what else I sell this week, and I'm really looking forward to having some big bucks sales, and I hope you guys are too. I'll be right back. Hey again, it's Wednesday, and I have 5 sales to ship out. I'm pretty happy about that. Also, I totaled up the total dollar amount of the 100 item listing challenge, and I could not believe it. You guys are not going to believe it. So after I share what I sold, I'll tell you how much I listed. It's really awesome. I'm really proud of myself. Okay, so the first item it sold is this really dainty lariat kind of double layer necklace. It is sterling silver beads, and then it has little turquoise on that first one and turquoise down here again. This is by Carolyn Pollock, and I got this piece at the estate sale where I spent $890. This ended up selling for $80. I did have it priced at, I think, $129, maybe even $149, but it had been listed a fair amount of time, and this buyer offered me $80. So I decided to go ahead and accept that because I only paid $3 per item at this sale, and it had, you know, 6-8 months to sell for a higher price or to get, you know, a bigger offer. Also, I know it is not quite summer, but it's the summer of sales again. I'm going with that. For some reason, the season of sales just didn't have quite the same ring to it. And boy, oh boy, am I ready for, you know, spring, summer weather. So I'm just going to say it's the summer of sales. And we're going to get going with that again, and I'm going to be accepting offers. You know, I was accepting offers before, but then they just I stopped getting offers, so I don't know what the deal was. And I do think that there were some that I should have taken that I didn't take. Anyways, c'est la vie. We're back to the summer of sales, and this sold for $80. I paid $3, so that made my profit $61. That's the best sale over the last couple of days, and I'm really excited about that. So we will take it. The next two sales are bundles, which make me happy, and they're more jewelry. So the first item in the bundle is this cute little lion pin brooch. I picked this up just because it was a lion and it was so cute. And then the next item is this brass and copper sort of cuff bracelet. This is nice, has a nice heavy weight to it. It has been listed forever and a day, and the bundle sold for $38. The little lion brooch hadn't been listed a super long time. I mean, probably 4 to 6 months, so long enough. But that bracelet, I think, had been listed for years. So I'm happy to see that go. I paid about $4 between the two items. So that made my profit $26.40. I'm happy about that for two little items, and happy that that bracelet is sold. A couple of things sold for that I have had listed for a really long time, and you guys know that makes me really happy. Okay, so another bundle here, and the first item is this necklace with a shell pendant. It's like a fossilized shell. They call it ammonite. I think that's how you say it. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up on the screen here. But I liked this piece because on this side, you could really see the kind of the fossil shell. And then on this side, there's like an iridescent quality to it. The shell part's really not that pretty, or the detail. But anyways, that's why I picked this up. And seems like people collect that ammonite shell or something, because I've had good luck with it in the past. And then the second item is this cute little scroll sterling silver ring, and I've had this listed for a really, really long time. The bundle sold for $45, which I am totally fine with and happy with. Might have needed a little more bubble wrap. So the ring was sterling silver, but this necklace and pendant was not. It is just silver tone metal. So I paid about $8 between the two of these items. So that made my profit $28. The next item that sold has been listed for quite some time, probably just over a year, and it is a vintage Betty Boop shirt, and it says the Easter Betty. So I assume that's why it finally sold. I looked these up and they seem to have really good comps on eBay, but I didn't list it on eBay. And I think I had these listed, started out at like $89 because of this, the brand or something. I don't know, but I got this offer for $30. And because it's been listed over a year and it's the summer of sales, I accepted that $30 because I clearly am not going to get it listed on eBay, and maybe the comps have changed by now. I paid about $6 for this, so that made my profit $18. Still, you know, a nice, a fine little profit, but happy to move it along. And I hope someone, you know, it's a Betty Boop collector or somebody that's really going to get a thrill out of getting this. The next item sold very, very quickly. It was one of the items that I listed last week as part of my 100 item listing challenge. I did accept the first offer I got on it for $20. Do I think this is probably worth more than $20? Possibly. I do think that it had probably a high retail. There is the brand, but I looked up the brand. It's leather and wool blend. So that's why I think, you know, it had a higher retail, and it has this cool rhinestone zip up on the front. Anyways, I did look up this brand, and it appears to be kind of an obscure brand. There was a listing on eBay for this exact same jacket for like, I think maybe $65. But the sold comps for this brand were not good. And there were only, I think maybe 5 or 10 sold comps on eBay. So I just decided when I got that $20 offer that I wanted to move it in and move it out. I only paid $1 for this. One of our little thrift stores, every so often, I can't figure out exactly what the schedule is, and they won't exactly tell me, but a certain color tag goes down to $1. And I happened to hit it on the right day, and I got some pretty decent pieces for $1 a piece. And they've been sitting in my death pile, and I got this one listed. Anyways, happy to move it in, move it out. Quick $15 profit in less than a week. So that I am totally okay with and happy with. Especially because this was kind of an obscure brand. I didn't want to sit on it and wait for the right buyer. Actually, when I was listing it, I was like, ugh, should I have even bought this? Which is kind of interesting that it sold super quickly. Anyways, I'm happy to have been wrong and made a quick $15 profit. Okay, so that's all my sales for today, but don't go anywhere. This video will continue with what else I sell. Now, let me share with you what my total listing dollar amount was. Okay, so keep in mind that, or you guys know that I typically price on the high end of comps. I think that I am going to have to be more conscious of that now, because it seems like reselling right now, at least, is more difficult than usual. Anyways, we can talk about that in another video. But my thought is, even if I sell all these items for half of what I listed them for, I still made a huge dent in listings. So my total listings On Posh, remember I did 55 listings, and the total dollar amount was $5,142 in listings just on Poshmark. That is really exciting because my goal was to do at least $5,000 in listings in conjunction with this 100 item listing challenge. And to be honest with you, I wasn't exactly paying attention. Like, I wasn't pricing up to try and get to that goal. Also, I did list a couple designer bags, so that really put that amount up. And then on Chairish, I did 44 new listings for a total of $8,516 on Chairish. And if you add those two together, I listed over $13,000 worth of items last week in that 100 item listing challenge. So that just goes to show what I am keeping in my money pile. And when you look at it that way, it is a giant money pile, and I need to stop letting it sit there. So the exact amount was $13,658 in listings. So like I said, even if I were to sell the items for 30-40% off and then my fees, that's still over $6,500 in potential sales that I got listed in 1 week. That is really motivating for me. I did kind of crash and burn on Monday and Tuesday, to be honest with you. I didn't feel that tired during the week. Well, I did, but not like totally exhausted. And Monday and Tuesday, I was just like, I can't. I came and shipped, and that's about all I did. I went to the Goodwill on Tuesday because I was feeling kind of grouchy and I wanted something to lift my spirits. I only bought one item while I was there, though, so that's good. But it did really take it out of me doing all those listings. Doing those 100 items and looking around at all the stuff that is still not listed, I just barely even made a dent in my money pile. What do you guys think? I know you guys will all be really proud of me and happy, and I hope that it is inspiring for you to do a listing challenge. And, be sure when you are making a goal or doing a challenge that is it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's time sensitive. So a SMART goal where you set all of the numbers and it has to be within a certain time frame, it's realistic for you, because if you don't have all of those components, it's really, or at least they say it's harder to focus and actually meet your goal. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I was going to do a whole nother video on that 100 item listing challenge, like I said, but it just didn't work out. So hopefully you guys are happy to have me share some of it in this shipping video. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hey again, it's Friday, and oh my, do I have some amazing sales to share with you. I'm so excited. I have 5 things going out, and they are all high dollar, high profit items. Yay! I'm so excited because my sales, as you guys have seen, have just not been that great, but this will make up for some of it for sure. Okay, so I had 2 sales on Chairish, and the first sale was a set of 7 of these tipsy glasses. I'll also go ahead and insert a picture of the full set so you can kind of see what I'm talking about when I say tipsy. So they're hand-blown glass, and they all are varying levels of drunk, you could say. So you see how this one is totally, it sits totally tilted like that, and this one is quite straight. So I don't know how practical these will be, but I saw them at a thrift store and I thought they were so fun and I couldn't resist. They ended up selling for $127, which I think is great. These did take a while to sell, over a year. But when I would be open in my retail portion of my shop, pretty much everybody that came in would comment on these glasses, and I only had them priced at $69.99 in my shop, but nobody bought them. But then I sold them for almost double that online. I did pay about $10 for the full set. So after Chairish's fee and my cost of goods that made my profit $91.70. I am absolutely thrilled with that, and I will add some more bubble wrap packaging to these before I ship them out, but I typically wrap my, or sometimes it kind of depends, I wrap my glasses in paper first and then in bubble wrap. I do always have my video on how I package breakables linked in the description box below, and I also have the Chairish seller's guide. So if you are interested in selling on Chairish, that's what you want to read. Boy, I'm just stumbling today. I'm so excited about all the sales I've had. So did I say my profit was $91.70? This is the only item that I profited less than $100 on out of all 5 of these items. So that just goes to show you how great these sales are. Okay, so the next sale was also on Chairish. And for those of you who have been watching, you know that I've been experimenting with selling jewelry on Poshmark. And this is the second good sale that I've had. This is a pair of real white gold earrings with these gorgeous pearls that are like this purple iridescent gray color. Aren't those beautiful? I got these at the estate sale where I spent $890, and they ended up selling for $247 on Chairish. I did also have these listed on Poshmark for about $100 less than that. And these actually sold on offer. So the buyer offered me that $247. I think I had them listed at $289 on Chairish. I tend to list things a little bit higher over on Chairish, so I'm absolutely thrilled about that. I only paid $3 for these, if I didn't already say that. So that made my profit $190.10. Can you guys believe that? Just out of this world. I'm so excited. And these really are a gorgeous pair of earrings. I'm not sure what they would have retailed for originally, but I would suspect if you went to buy them now, they would be, you know, selling kind of in that $300 plus range, depending on what those pearls are. But as far as I know, the only way to test to see if pearls are natural is through X-ray. And I'm not going to do that for, you know, a $3 investment. Did I already say my profit was $190.10? Wowee. If not, I'm excited to say it again. Okay, now on to Poshmark sales, and all of these sales were in the last 24 hours. I can't believe it's over $1,000, $1,340 in sales in the last 24 hours. So the next item is this Louis Vuitton bag, and those of you who have been watching, I still haven't gotten my designer video done. Hopefully that's coming soon. But I've been experimenting with flipping designer handbags on Poshmark. So this is part of the experiment. It's a Louis Vuitton. This is the Damier Abine print. It's a checkered print. If you can see, it has the LV on it. This is the Neverfull MM, so the medium size. And it is in pretty nice used condition. So this person did, you know, use it a fair bit before selling it, but their listing photos were not very good, or they were okay actually, but in her description and title, she had that it was the PM size, no measurements. There was a big stain on the inside that looked like lotion. It was white. And I just sprayed a little bit of this, which is one of my favorite things from the dollar store. It's the vinegar window cleaner. I like it because it's very, very gentle. It does not leave any sort of cleaning odor. So I just sprayed a little bit of that on a toothbrush and then, you know, scrubbed it and then wiped it dry, and it came out so easily. So I paid $325 plus tax and shipping, or plus tax, no, shipping too, because it was under 500. And I had this authenticated so that I could get a authentication certificate to include with it. I think that having a clean item, an authenticity guarantee or certificate, and good photos in your listing can bump up the sale price. This sold for $700. It's possible that I could have waited a little bit longer and got a little bit more, but I am focusing on doing relatively quick flips for these designer items because I have such a high investment. So that made my total cost of goods $360 with all of this included. And after Posh fees, my cost of goods, my profit was $200, and it took about roughly 8 weeks to sell from when I listed it. So overall, I'm happy with that. On these items, I'm not necessarily going to double. Some of them I will. It just depends on what my buy-in price is. And so I'm absolutely thrilled with that. I'm going to package this up off camera just to make sure it's really neat and secure, but I'm super excited about that. 2 more designer items sold. So maybe we need to be focusing on, well, we're always focusing on finding designer if we can, but it looks like people are buying higher priced items and really low priced items. Okay, so this is an Alexander McQueen. It's called a harness polo shirt. And I found this when my husband and I went to Hawaii in December. I went to the Goodwill, and I also have not finished or uploaded that video yet, but I found quite a few designer men's shirts there, and you guys would have seen that I already sold one, I think for $70. This one sold for $150. Alexander McQueen can have a really high retail. This is just not wanting to fold neatly like I want it to. But anyways, I was so excited to find all of these, and this, from the time that I got it listed, I think this took less than a month to sell. And I did have it listed for $229, but this buyer offered me the $150, and I checked comps on eBay, and that was on the high end of what this particular shirt had sold for. So I just went ahead and accepted that. I thought it was a pretty fair price for this item. The men's shirts at that Goodwill were $6. It was just a generic price. So that made my profit $114. Are you guys as happy as me to see me so excited and smiling? I really needed to have these great sales. I've been kind of down in the dumps, or trying not to be down in the dumps because my sales have not been great. But this definitely makes up for it, and I'm heading out of town on Sunday to go shopping with a friend. We're going to do some retail and some thrift shopping. She's a thrifter too. This is my first time thrifting with her, but I think that we'll have some fun, and it's nice to kind of have some peace of mind that I have these sales and this money coming. Hopefully there aren't any issues with that Louis Vuitton bag, because the buyer made me an offer, I accepted, and then she immediately started asking questions, which you guys know can be kind of, you know, sometimes can be a bad thing, but she was just asking about the authenticity and when she would receive it. And I know it's authentic, and I'm shipping it today, and she only bought it a couple of hours ago. So it will get to her as quick as possible. The next item is this absolutely gorgeous Salvatore Ferragamo silk scarf in this leopard or cheetah print. Isn't that gorgeous? And it is marked on the bottom here. And also, if you look at the edges here, one clue to a nice silk item is that it has these rolled stitched edges like that. This sold in less than a week, I believe. I just picked it up at a little thrift store. They had it out for decoration, and this thrift store does that sometimes, but they were changing to their spring decor, and normally they don't sell the decorative items, but I said, I see that you're changing out to the spring decor. How much do you want for, or will you sell me this scarf? And so she went in the back and asked, and they sold it to me for $3. It ended up selling for $116. Okay, I lied. This scarf also was less than $100 profit, but it was $89.80. That is amazing for a quick flip. This is the second time that I have found a Ferragamo scarf at a thrift store that had leopards or cheetahs on it, which I think is kind of interesting. And the other one I found years and years ago, and I actually sold it. I put it up for auction on eBay, and it sold at about the same price, about $120. And I did check comps, and it looked like that is the range for a pre-owned silk Ferragamo scarf like this. But oh my gosh, you guys, I am absolutely thrilled to have these great sales. And I'm excited to sell another one of those designer pieces that I kind of bought as, you know, an experiment. I'm happy with the $200 profit, even though I'm not doubling my money. And when I started that experiment, I was looking for these designer items, it seemed like there was deals everywhere. It was at the end of last year and the first of this year that I was doing a lot of searching. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But now when I've been searching, I haven't seen as many good deals. So I'm not sure what that's about. But I did kind of slow my roll because I spent a fair amount buying the different pieces that I did, and I was like, okay, that's enough to invest to make this experiment. I wanted to have quite a few items in my closet that were designer to kind of show people that I'm a reputable seller. But if I find a good deal now that I've got some of my initial investment back with that bag and the other bag that I sold a couple of weeks ago, I think I'll feel a little more confident. One thing, I did invest in quite a few of the multicolor Louis Vuitton pieces because they just re-released those, and I thought that would make people want to buy them, but I haven't got as much interest in the multicolor items as I have the traditional items. So luckily, only one of those items did I make a pretty high investment in, and I still think if I needed to fire sale it, I could get all of my investment back. The others were small goods like wallets and a planner. So, and I don't have much into those. So also those, if I needed to get my investment back, I could sell them quickly for the low dollar amounts that I paid for them. Anyways, just a few tips. Still hoping to do a video on that and give you some more tips on what kind of I tried and am trying to do with this experiment. But I feel great that it's working out so far. It is Friday, and I will ship again because I'm not going to ship on Monday. So I'm going to make sure to get everything out as long as I have more sales. I wouldn't complain if I didn't have any more sales by Saturday, but let's just hope that I do. Okay, don't go anywhere. This video will continue with what else I sell. Hi again, it's Saturday and I've got 2 more things to ship out. Not quite the 24 hours that I had yesterday, but I'm happy nonetheless. So the first item that sold is this sterling silver and smoky quartz charm bracelet. Isn't that pretty? I love the kind of ball charms on there. I got this at the estate sale where I spent $890, and I would assume that it's was originally purchased from QVC or HSN because that's where most of this woman's items came from. Sold for $40. I paid $3 a piece for all of the jewelry at that sale. So that made my profit $29. I am happy with that. And this is a rarity, but I had a full price sale. I don't know when the last time was that happened, but this leather jacket sold for $79. It has been listed right at about a year. It is by, here is the brand, and it's in excellent condition. So I am very excited. I did just notice that there is a little bit of a Goodwill mark on the label there, and I'm not sure if I photographed that or not. So I'm going to try and clean that off before I package this up. But I paid about $10 for it because it was $12 and I had a 10% off coupon, maybe closer to $11. Anyways, that made my profit $53.20. So that brand, I believe, is just an Italian-made brand, but I really liked the quality of that jacket, and it was the moto style, so I picked it up. That's the moto style's kind of, I mean, it's classic, but it's not quite as trendy as it was in the last couple of years. Okay, so finally, a sales week that I am excited to talk about. And really, you know, overall my sales have been okay. I just had that week a few weeks ago where I only sold 300 and something, which is hard to get out of your brain. But my total sales for the week were $1,780. Yes, finally breaking 1,000 in sales and almost close to 2,000 in sales. My total cost of goods was $428, and my total profit after any website fees, cost of goods, and any shipping discounts was $988.71. Just shy of my $1,000 profit goal, but I am going to take it. I'm absolutely thrilled. I sold a total of 15 items, so that made my average sale price $118.67. Over $100 average sale price is amazing. Made my average cost of goods per sale $28.53. So these are skewed a little bit because I had that $700 Louis Vuitton bag sale and I paid $360 for it. But I still think, you know, I had some really great higher dollar sales and it made my total average profit per item $65.91. I am just totally thrilled with that. And I do think that some of that is a result of me doing my listing challenge. But like I said, I crashed and burned and I have not listed anything this week. So, you know, I kind of want to take that into consideration. I may not do a 100 item challenge next week when my husband's gone. I may do something a little more realistic, like 50, so that I don't get totally burnt out and then not list the next week. Because then every now and again, it's good to do a big listing challenge to kind of just see what you can do and see how many items you can knock out of your money pile if you have a money pile. And speaking of death piles or money piles, whatever you want to call it, I want to talk about that for a little bit. I am on the fence about that because I do think that clutter can weigh you down and affect your mental health and kind of how you feel about your space. So in that aspect, I don't think that it's great to have a money pile unless you are super organized and you can keep it organized to where it doesn't stress you out. I'm not very good at that. But when the economy is uncertain like it is right now, like during COVID when things shut down, I seriously doubt we'll ever have a shutdown like that again, but you never know. But when the economy is uncertain and I don't want to be forking out extra money or I don't have extra cash flow to buy new items, then I am very thankful that I have this death pile or money pile because it is ready and I can just list stuff. which is really great for peace of mind. And I had that peace of mind during COVID when, you know, everything was shut down and I couldn't source like I normally could. So let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts on a money pile, a death pile? You know, I also realized that one of the reasons I have this business is because I love thrifting, and I don't think that that love for thrifting is ever going to go away. And I don't necessarily want it to. I really enjoy it, and it's fun for me to find treasures and then make money on them too. But I'm curious to hear what your guys's viewpoint on that is. I think most of you are kind of in the same boat with me, seeing your results from some of my previous questions about, missing sales and not going to them. You guys all encouraged me to go, even though I have plenty of stuff to list. But just jewelry, I probably have thousands of items to list, but it just doesn't take up much space. And that's why I'm a little more okay with having jewelry, and also why I've kind of wanted to scale back on clothing a little bit. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. We'll see if I can ever make changes. I sure hope I can, little by little, to improve, kind of my mindset with all the clutter. And I have been slowly doing a little bit of organizing here and there to try and make my workspace look a little more put together and organized, so that I feel a little bit better about that. Thank you guys all so very much for watching. All of your kind comments on my video. When I had the slow sales week, there was so much reassurance and feedback, and I really think it's great that we can support each other that way and kind of, misery loves company, kind of make each other feel better and cheer each other on. I just really appreciate all of you guys, and I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so very much, and I'll see you guys all again next week. Bye-bye.